Very good morning, students. So today we are taking up the digestive system of the earthworm. So here, the very first thing to be mentioned is that this is the alimentary canal of the earthworm. And whenever we add the glands into it, the digestive glands, then it is said to be as the digestive system. So digestive system is a whole sum of the alimentary canal and the digestive glands. So students, here we are starting with the alimentary canal, first of all, of the earthworm. So this alimentary canal, it starts with a particular mouth. So this is the very first part of the alimentary canal, and this mouth is anterior and it is present on the first segment of the earthworm. Now this is a very important thing to note, that the first segment of the earthworm is the peristomium. So peri refers to the periphery and stomium refers to the mouth. So peristomium literally means it is the peripheral part of the mouth. So this is the first segment. And there is a modification of peristomium which is called as the prostomium. And this prostomium is before the mouth. So this is overhanging onto the mouth. So some students, they write prostomium as a first segment, but the actual fact is that the peristomium is the first segment of earthworm. So this mouth is present on the first segment, which is the peristomium. Now second thing, students, we have is the buccal cavity. So this is the second part of the alimentary canal, which is a tube-like short structure, and it extends from the very first segment up to the third segment. So it is only 2 segments long. So you can say 3 segments. So it is from 1 to 3. Now this buccal cavity is a small chamber which takes in the food and it passes to the pharynx. Now next, third thing is the pharynx. Now it is a pear-shaped structure and it extends from the third to the fourth segment. So that means it is a very, very small bag-like structure, but it is quite important as far as the digestive process is concerned. So if we cut the TS of the pharynx, so the above wall or the dorsal side, it has got a pharyngeal mass. So this is a mass which is present on the dorsal side and it is ciliated. And this mass has got the pharyngeal glands. So we'll be talking about these glands in the digestive part of this system. So far now we have discussed the parts of the alimentary canal. So the next part in the alimentary canal is the esophagus. So students, this is a pipe-like structure and it is extending from the 5th to 7th segment. So this is passing the food after some digestion in the pharynx to the next part, which is the gizzard. And this is a very, very important part in earthworm. Now this gizzard is a muscular oval sac. So here you can very well see that gizzard is a muscular kind of organ which is present in the segment number 8 and 9. Now this gizzard is responsible for the crushing of the food. As we all know that the earthworm is taking in sand particles, the clay particles or debris along with the food. So that's why we need a gizzard over here to crush all the materials. So this is a hard oval sac with a thick muscular wall and it is lined by cuticle and it is crushing the food into smaller parts. So we can say that in the gizzard, the mechanical digestion of the food, it occurs. So some of the digestive juices from the pharynx, they are coming along with the food into it. So we can say that there is both mechanical and chemical digestion in the gizzard. Now students, next part is the stomach. Now this is the next part. So stomach is responsible for the major chemical digestion of the food, and this is again a pipe-like structure, a tube-like structure, and it is extending from the 9th segment up to the 14th segment. Now these are particular segments in which the stomach is present. Now here the epithelium is vascular and is glandular. That means the epithelium of the stomach is secreting the juices for the digestion of the food. Now this stomach is followed by the intestine. So students, here I want to mention that the intestine has got 3 parts, and these 3 parts are: number 1, first part is the pre-tiflosolar part of the intestine. The second part over here is the tiflosolar part of the intestine. So first is the pre-tiflosolar, second is the tiflosolar part, and third part is the post-tiflosolar part of the intestine. And that third part is not shown over here because it is containing the last segments of the earthworm. So students, if we take the central part first, so I should first explain to you that what is Tiflosoul and why it is called as the tiflosolar part of the intestine. So if you are seeing this particular structure which is present in the intestine, now if we cut out the intestine and if we see the inner side of the intestine, we have got a hanging inside the cavity of the intestine, and this hanging is called as the Tiflosoul. So this is the Tiflosoul. So in the part of the intestine which is having this particular Tiflosoul is called as the tiflosolar part of the intestine. That means the pre-tiflosolar part, it is not having this hanging. That means it is the prior part to the Tiflosoul. And same is with the post-tiflosolar part of the intestine, that is again devoid of this Tiflosoul. So the tiflosolar part of the intestine is having the Tiflosoul. The pre and the post ones, they are lacking this tiflosolar structure. So students, that was the parts of the intestine. If we go with the first pre-tiflosolar region, it extends from the segment number 15 to 26th segment. So it is, you can say, from 15th to the 26th segment of the intestine. Now if we take the tiflosolar region, it starts with the 27th and it goes down, and the post-tiflosolar region, it is containing the last 25 segments. That means if we cut out the last 25 segments and we start with 27th onwards, so up till the end we have got the tiflosolar part. So students, that was the demarcation, you can say, or the parts of the intestine. One thing which should be mentioned over here is that the post-tiflosolar part, the last 25 segments, they are also called as the rectum. So that part is storing the feces for some time before it is egested out. So students, that was about the alimentary canal, and the very last part will be the anus, and it is present on the last segment, which is called as the anal segment. So this is a slit-like aperture which can be closed or opened by the will of the earthworm when it is required. So these are the parts of the alimentary canal. Now students, we are taking up the digestive glands of this animal. So in the digestive glands, the very first gland is present in the pharynx. So they are called as the pharyngeal mass or pharyngeal glands. So they are present on the pharynx roof. As we have earlier discussed that if we cut the pharynx, so we have got a pharyngeal mass on the dorsal side. So it has got gland cells which are called as the chromophil cells. So this is the name of the gland cells in the pharynx, and they secrete saliva. So having various mucus cells and enzymes, this saliva will be digesting the food in the pharynx. Now, students, second part where the digestive glands are present, it is the stomach. Now, the stomach has got the gastric epithelium. So, the epithelium layer of the stomach is called as the gastric epithelium. Now, this epithelium has the gland cells, and these are secreting the digestive juices which are having the digestive enzymes of all the types. So, this juice has got amylases for carbohydrates, proteases for proteins, and it has got lipases for the lipids. So that was the case of stomach. Third type of glands are present in the intestine. So here we have the pre-tiflosolar and the post-tiflosolar part of the intestine. So whole of the intestine has got the gland cells. So they are producing special digestive juices which are lipolytic and proteolytic in nature, and it is also secreting two very important enzymes which are the cellulase and the chitinase. So these are the two enzymes which are secreted by the intestinal epithelium. And the fourth part now, which is again very important as per the digestive glands are concerned, this is the intestinal cecum. So we got two intestinal cecae, one is on the left side and one is on the right side. So these are producing the digestive fluids which are having the enzymes for the proper digestion of the food. So students, these were the four types of digestive glands present in the earthworm for digestion. So that was all about the digestive system of Pheretima posthuma. Thank you.